Hello, everyone. Patriot 5 here with Patriot 6 on Monday night. Is this going to be our week? And I want to cover some things, but I want to get into the Pledge of Allegiance and the music. So let's get that out of the way, and we'll talk to the kids, and then we'll talk about what's going on. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again, just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt as long as God bless the USA, God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, oh, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, oh, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I'd rather stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no time to say, God bless the USA. Next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless you.
Proud to be an American. God bless the USA. And, I was talking to some people. That, just today, and they said to me, but aren't you a little bit on the prejudice side? And I said, explain. And they said, well, you're proud to be an American. You play that song for all your shows. And I said, I am. But I also, if you listen, I also tell you, no matter what country you're from, and I use the reference a lot, Julia, the girl in the Ukraine that I write letters to. She told me in a letter last week that she don't know how she did it, because in the city she lives in, they allow you to send emails, but to join any sites, to get anything. But she was able to click on the site one day, and she did a search, and she played the music, God Bless the USA, that we just played. And she said, it is a beautiful song. But she said, when I sang it, Ralph, she says, I did exactly what you told me. I sang it, and after the God Bless USA, and I listened to it a second time, I sang it, God Bless the Ukraine. And I'm going to talk about the Ukraine and Russia a little bit tonight because I think it's important. But what people need to understand, the importance of it, and I'll explain it to you as best I can. And I have quite a bit to talk about. I'm not going to make no promises. I'm not going to tell you that I'm under an NDA. I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to be filmed on the special bets. I'm not going to do anything like that. I'm just going to tell you it is what it is, and we're going to keep moving forward as a group, and we're going to keep trying to build us up as a group. And that's all we're here for. I'm not here for money. I'm not here for anything. I'm not here for you guys to look at my ruggedly handsome, good looks. And I hope when I said that, I didn't get too many people like Beth or David or Bill or Jeffrey or, Sarita. I hope you didn't throw up when I said that about my ruggedly handsome, good looks. But I'm in a very good mood tonight. I'm in a really good mood. But I do want to.
Why?
Oh, Ron wants me to tell you why, but I'll tell you I shouldn't. I shouldn't just in case. But no, it's I'm joking with Ron that I'm in such a good mood today because my daughter-in-law is a teacher in the school district, and she went back to school today, so I didn't have to deal with her. But it was weird because when she came home, she was nice as nice can be. And I literally looked at her twice, like, dumbfounded. And she said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah." I was just double checking to make sure it was her.
Maybe it was a clone.
Maybe she got with that Fucci or whatever guy, and he cloned one of them. Boy, I wish they'd clone a good one. No, me and her, we don't see eye to eye. And that's only because she's 2 inches taller than me. But no, I've been in a very good mood all day today. And Ron noticed it when I first come down. The reason he noticed it, because when I opened the door to walk in his house, I go, "I feel good. Do. You knew that I would now. But no, I'm in a good mood tonight. I feel like I did when I first started doing these shows, laughing and joking. And my jokes are not very funny, but, sometimes I look over here and see someone like Robert Ford or Janet. Good to see all of you. Papa G. Papa G, I talked to him on the phone a couple times, and, he actually laughs at my jokes. Beth Shaw, good to see you. Jeffrey. One Voice is here. Soretta. If I mention you twice, just feel fortunate. I might read them again and mention you a third time. So I do want to talk about the kids and one young man, and I hope he didn't get mad at me today, and I hope none of you got mad at me today, but I was talking with my son yesterday, and he checked my phone out, and my phone is even though it's new, it's filling up very fast. When it fills up fast, it gets hot. When it fills up fast, it gets very slow, and sometimes you can't do or send things. And I asked him, I said, "This is a new phone. It's only 2 months old. What's going on?" He checked it. And he went to Telegram, to our page, and he started looking at everything on Telegram. And he said, right here. He looked, and of all of the stuff that's on my phone, Telegram is over half of the stuff on there. So I put a message out today, and I said on there, "You're welcome to go in, post pictures of your grandkids, your kids, your family. You're welcome to go in and send emojis." And we have one little boy sends 5 emojis every day. And that's Patriot Super Jimmy. And sometimes he does it twice a day. And that's fine. But I just wanted to let people know, I will let them up for the day that they're posted. But on the emojis and the pictures, then they're going to go up and up and up, and we're not even going to see them. And we're going to see the same ones the next day and the day after. So I'm going to start deleting them because my son said that they will help. I'm going to go in tonight or tomorrow, and I'm going to go as far up as I can go and delete emojis and pictures. No one's seeing them. If John, John shares the pictures of his grandkids. And I believe there's a John. Is John on tonight? Does anybody talk to John? I believe John has a grandchild that has a birthday today. I thought I saw. Let me look real quick here, because I seen Jimmy wish somebody from his sister a happy birthday. Let me see if I can pull that up. Yes, Jimmy said, "Happy birthday, Books." So I'm assuming it's Boog's birthday. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Boog. Happy birthday to you. And we hope you have a million more. And then more after that. But anyway, it's things like that. And, the happy birthday emoji. Tomorrow, I will take that down. It won't be her birthday. And I can't afford to have this stuff. Some of the stuff that was posted 3 weeks ago that we'll never see, I'm going to start taking them down, especially if there's videos. And it's not because I don't want you. Guys, I want you posting. I want you helping me. I want you sending me pictures. But like I said, once we get through that day, we have so many people post on here, they're not going to be there now. John got with me and said, that's fine, And I'm not doing this to be bad. I'm doing it just so I can save storage on my phone, because I started thinking about this when Myrna posted on Messenger today, and I think it was Elaine. She commented that she had to actually break down and spend some money to get some more space on Gmail. And I'm starting to believe Gmail is getting very notorious about doing things like that. So if I get the spam emails or the other emails and things like that I don't want, big emails that might have videos and stuff like that in there, I'll go in every day and I get rid of them. But then I go over and I also make sure that I delete them. So I'm just trying to tell people I'm not doing anything here to upset people. And Jimmy, keep sending your stuff, because that is something that helps you bring you closer to your mommy. So that's fine. But I just don't want people getting mad at me when the next day they're gone, and the same way as pictures and 3 or 4, 5, 6 days old videos, like a lot of people post Mark Z and other things up there. Bruce and a Big Call twice a week. Well, once you listen to Bruce and a Big Call on either Thursday night or Friday, or Tuesday night, Wednesday, and Thursday, if I wait a week and go back and take all of them out, it saves me bandwidth. So I just wanted to tell you guys that. I don't want anybody getting mad, because I'm not doing it to make you mad. And if it's going to make you mad, I won't do it. But if it gets to the point I don't have enough room on it to keep the site going, then where are we going to be? So, Super Jimmy, I hope you had a great day today. It's hot here. I don't know what it's like where you're at. Patriot 11, are you back in school yet? Is any of you kids that I'm going to be talking to back in school? I know my daughter, my 3 grandkids there, and then small Hank starts school tomorrow. So I'll have the house downstairs all to myself. My son will be upstairs working. My daughter-in-law will be in school. My grandkids will be in school. But I'm going to take about an hour to an hour and a half, 2-3 times a week, and I'm going to run over to my daughter's house and let their little puppy, because he's about, well, they got him on Valentine's Day, and they have to keep him in a cage because, being a puppy, he likes to chew, he likes to tear, and cushions of expensive couches are not a good thing to get torn up. I had the same thing with my dogs, Dasher and Candy, when they was pups, and it tore me up when me and Ron would go someplace to have to put them in a cage. But they outgrew it, and he will too. But I don't want him in there. And, as time goes on, my daughter will be able to come home for lunch. But right now, being a kindergarten teacher, she wants to be there at lunchtime with the kids to make sure they're actually learning. And see, she's the teacher, not the kindergarten, not the lady in the cafeteria that watches over them. So she just wants to get her kids broke in to where they feel comfortable around others. And then we have Patriot Karate Kid and Patriot Wyatt Earp. I'm just going to assume that pretty much everybody's back in school. I hope you have a great school year. But the thing is, how long will it be of a school year? Because if things happen, if they're going to rewrite the history books, if they're going to redo the way we do math, okay, here's something I want to talk about school and to the kids. If you take 2 plus 2 times 0 divided by 3 plus 1, what is your answer? Well, in my thing, you took 2 plus 2 is 4, times 0 is 0, divided by 5 is still 0, plus 1, your answer is 1. But now, no, you gotta put this before this and this before this. And you know what? That's not math. That is people coming out and that is your cabal coming out and making things up. That's all that is. And we're going to get away from that. We're going to go to simple math, the way it should be. So what's going to happen? If I go to a store and I buy something, but then I do something else, I buy 5 of them, so that would be 5 of these times 5. Now, do I have to take the 5? It makes no sense to me. But then again, and guys, this is a guy that was a straight A student in math. Not only was I a straight A student in math, I helped probably the 2 hottest girls his freshman year of high school sitting next to me in math get A's where they never got anything better than a C their first 8 years of school. So, Patriot Princess, our queen, and Hunter, Jana keeps sharing pictures of our little princess, and she's just a doll, but she loves sports. And, in a way, she reminds me a little bit of my daughter at that age. And I really thought that my granddaughter, Ella, would be the same way. But, Ella, she was just starting to get good in soccer. I mean, really, she was getting pretty good. But then her mom offered her the opportunity to play soccer or do gymnastics. And she chose gymnastics. And Ella, if you're on, I tell this story, you laugh about it. I said, why? It was like she couldn't even bend over and tie her shoes comfortably. I'm just joking to that. But I just wondered why. And now she's writing routines for herself. And I look and no, is she ever going to be the next Olivia Dunn? No, because she's going to be prettier. Is she ever going to be the next, the girl that's the greatest gymnast ever in the world? No, because she's sweeter. But she's going to be the best that she can be. And that's all we can ask any of you kids to be, is the best you can be. And when I look at Haley, and she loves softball, and that brings it to my heart, because you guys know the love I have for baseball and softball. And something I've never really mentioned on here for the kids or even the adults is pretty much when I quit playing ball, I become a referee in basketball. I become an umpire in softball and baseball. Now, I could have refereed boys' games and made a lot of money. They were paying really good money back then. But I chose to referee with a teacher at Herscher High School named Les Gindrich, God rest his soul. I chose to ref with him, and we was reffing girls' games at a time that not only were we reffing them, we were teaching them what to do and what not to do. It used to be with girls' basketball. If a girl was dribbling and someone was guarding her, they'd let the girl just bump them, just barely bump them, and they fall down like they was killed, like someone shot them, and that, you just understand what I mean? And we would explain to them, you're making the referees look bad because that's not a foul. That is you putting on a show, and if you do it again, we're giving you a technical. And we literally, as referees, we helped them. Ron went into umpiring with me, and we would do girls' games instead of guys. Now, I could have been making $35 and $40 a game making girls' games. Instead, I chose to make $2 to $5 to help them. So I always felt that was a big movement along also with Ron of helping the girls. So I like girl sports and I like guys, but I do believe that girl sports and guy sports should be played separate. And I say this in all earnesty because I just was reading the other day where there's this girl, she's a tremendous kicker, and they're going to allow her to kick for this football team. But my question is, and I asked the people, I said, are you going to let the kid that was the kicker last year go and play on the girls' volleyball team? Because they don't offer boys volleyball at this school. They don't offer football for girls at this school. So if she's going to take the position of a boy should take the position of a girl. And since by our president, no girls and boys can shower or change clothes in the same locker room, that means now you have to provide her a special place to change clothes. Now, that's okay. But no, it's not, because see, what happens was when you come into high school football, you have two locker rooms. You have a locker room for the girls and a locker room for the boys. Well, the locker room for the girls, the visiting teams get. So where is this girl going to shower? Where is she going to get cleaned up? Where is she going to get dressed for the game and undressed after the game? And I say this, and I'm not trying to be a hypocrite here, but I say girls and boys have no, you play your sports. I'm saddened, that what is next? They have a soccer team for the girls. They have a soccer team for the boys. But she's better than any of the girls. So are they going to allow her to go up and take a boy spot on the soccer team, but they won't allow the boy to go down there because boys can't play girl sports? And I'm just trying to point this out to kids. Be a girl and be a boy. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on that, but you know how I feel about that. Then we have Boogs, Boogaloo, Boogaroo, and Boogie. And once again, happy birthday. John is a tremendous grandpa. He's so proud, and I'm loving the fact that he posts pictures. See, he used to just send them to me. Now I get to see him on Telegram. So the people who's members, they can all see them. But John understood, yeah, go ahead, wait a day and take them down. On emojis, I might take them down the next day. On pictures, I might let them stay up there 2 days because maybe someone didn't do something and see them, and John will say, just scroll up. So you got 2 days, But once it gets 3 and 4 and 5 days, they're going to get up so high. I mean, when we post 25 to 50 posts a day on there, if not more, and all of a sudden, 3 or 4 days pass, they're 150 posts up. You ain't going to find them. Mark Z, people like to post these little videos of Mark Z. He'll give us an update. The same way with Wolverine, Wolverine, the man who's under an NDA, but for some reason he doesn't disappear, but we knew that. But anyway, that's a different story at a different time, but then we have little Patriot Leona and Leilan, two little girls that they don't even know truthfully what's happening in this world yet. And they're enjoying life the way they should enjoy life as kids. I've already mentioned Patriot super gymnast and how proud I am of her. And, I'm sitting here and she walked in, she come and seen Uncle Ron the other day. Uncle Ron has this thing when they come and visit, they happen to leave with a little bit of green in their pocket, and she come to visit and she give him a hug before she left. And when I came home that afternoon from being with them, he looked at me and says, man, Ella is pretty. She's going to make a tremendous cheerleader. Well, in the school she's at, for the junior high, they don't have cheerleaders until high school. And I don't know if she'll ever be a cheerleader. She just wants to be friends with everybody. She's the type of little girl that wants to be friends. When she comes on here and she's, does her little moderating stuff, she loves coming on here. And she's built in her feelings a great rapport with a lot of yous on here. But the one that she really talks to me about is Janet. She said, because when I'm on there, Papa, and when Janet's on there, nobody messes with any of us. And she says, I try to get to him before, but she said, that Janet, she just goes, and it's great that, she has fun. I was with Liam yesterday. I took him fishing for a little bit. And when we went fishing, I went back and I bought them all a slushie from the gas station, and I took it back and we're talking. And my daughter looks at Liam and says, "So we heard it's official now, Liam." Liam says, "What?" "That you and Emma are an official couple." And Liam starts getting bashful. And I said, "Well, you're just hearing that?" And Amber says, "Yeah, why?" And I says, "Well, we heard that. Ella told me that yesterday." And we start teasing Liam, and he's blushing, but we all did it in fun. And, Liam is Patriots 7, by the way. And, that's what it's about, kids. The last few times, and I know it's because they're going back to school and I'm not going to be able to go over there as much. And the little monkey who I babysat ever since she was born, 2 and 3 days a week since she was born now, I feel lost sometimes. I feel lost. And I really didn't think I'd have such a good day this early after, not babysitting her. But she'll look at me when I had them last week and I took them out. I had to pick Ella up from gymnastics. When we got back to the house, Addison looks at me and says, "Come on, Grandpa, we're going to go sit on the couch and snuggle because we don't have no more days that we can snuggle." Robert. Striking out, huh? I know. I was getting on Ron. I tell you guys, I got to talk a little sports here before I finish the kids. Because I got to say this. I'm telling you, the White Sox players, they do not want to get Ron mad at them. 2 pitchers pitched really bad, and Ron really, he got down on me, and he's talking to me, and he's talking to me and talking to me. Both of them pitchers are down in the minors. So I come in tonight, and as I come into the house to get ready for the show, Lewis Robert is coming up. And he got hot right after the All-Star break, but he's kind of mellowing down a little bit now. And he looked at me and said, "Robert's back to the old way." And he, man, oh, God, here goes Robert down in the minors. And he heard me say Robert, 2-run, huh? And he just hit a 2-run homer. So, but that's what we was talking about. And then getting back to the kids, because I don't got many to go. I'm talking about the little monkey and that, but small Hank, he goes back to school tomorrow. And going back to school tomorrow, he's excited because he loves school. He's like his dad. He loves school. And he's smart. Boy, that boy's smart. As a matter of fact, I was having a talk with my son the other night because Brandon was very smart. He was his mother opening her mouth away from being valedictorian, but she had to have things her way, one of those moms that it's got to be my way or no way. And it cost him valedictorian because she made him take a college course. And he got a B+. He missed an A by 1 point. 1 point, and it cost him valedictorian. Nowadays they have 3 or 4 valedictorians, depending on the schools. I've heard of schools have as many as 10. But it was back then you had 1 valedictorian and 1 salutatorian. I don't know what that word was. Never could say it. And then we got little Kira that she's back at the babysitter now, and she's doing really good. I was talking to a gentleman today, and he was asking me how she was doing, that he didn't think he'd ever get to see her, but she's home. She's beat that earliness, and boy, is she a firecracker. So that concludes the kids tonight. So we're going to go into the adult part of the show, but I do need to say the music we played tonight is for entertainment purposes only. We have absolutely no legal rights to it. We use it for entertainment purposes only. And this show is not meant for children. They can watch it under the discretion of their parents, grandparents, or legal guardians. So today I went into TikTok and I did a video. It's about 8.5 to 9 minutes long. I got it posted on TikTok and started seeing some great success. I posted it on Patriot 5 Forever. I'm going to see if I can take it over and share it on Messenger. But it's about patriotism. I went to TikTok because a lot of you here were sending me TikTok messages I could not open. So I went to TikTok and I reopened my account, but I changed my name on it. I'm now under Patriot 5 and Patriot 6. I do not have a picture of me on there because I don't want to be bothered by people who just want to chat and accept me and and then say, well, what are you looking for here? Read my bio. I'm looking to tell people about patriotism. I'm not here to find a girlfriend or the love of my life or anything like that. I'm here for patriotism. It's plain and simple. So now that I've did this, I'm probably going to be doing videos, short videos, 3 to 5 minutes a day, posting them on around the place so people can see them. Uh, Actually, I did the one today out of my deck. I had just gotten out of my swimming pool, and that. But you know, uh, I got here a thank you. John watched it, and other people have thanked me. But you know, if you're on Telegram in our page and you're here now, I see that there's 97 people here tonight. But yet, as long as I've had this site up, we don't have 97 followers. And if you'd like, I can somehow see. I don't know if I could do it tonight here. I might. What? For Tenaro? They played today. Oh, it was a day-night doubleheader. Oh, my goodness. Check this out. You guys know how I love the White Sox. You know how much I dislike the Cubs. The Cubs got beat today. I mean, they didn't get beat. They got hammered. It's not even raining in Chicago, and they've canceled the game because of rain, because it might rain later. Are you kidding me? What is the 37,000 people that was going to go to that game going to do now? They just canceled it. Now these people had to drive it. I don't want to go there. I'm in too good of a mood. I feel good. But anyway. Yeah, Ron's saying that they'll probably play a doubleheader tomorrow. If they do, they need to play it back-to-back to get it done. So anyway, I want to talk now about what's going on. What's going on in our beautiful United States of America. But before we do, I'm going to ask everybody. Oh, I know what I was talking about. Let me go back there. I was talking about we have 104 people on, but I don't have 104 followers, and Ron don't have 104 followers on Telegram. I really wish everybody here would follow us because it makes it easier to get things to you. Or if you're not going to follow us here, come follow us on Messenger. Or if you don't want to follow us there, come to Signal. I mean, we make it really easy, guys, for everyone to follow us. And I've been to the Signal account, and I'm noticing hardly no one ever speaks there anymore. And you know what? It's okay that you're coming to the other platforms to follow us. Because, see, Signal was originally just set up by the military when we go to the blackouts, when we do this. It wasn't set up that it was going to be a social talking zone. But so many people did it, they decided to let it happen. But I'm liking when I go there, and there's really, the people are coming now to Telegram or Messenger. Come to Facebook. We can work something out to get everything, because I'm telling you, guys, if you're not in one of our things right now, we're at 111, 111. Oh, speaking of 111, last night, as everybody knows, at midnight, I start walking. I go outside. I walk on my deck. I walk up and down the street. I walk in my house. But I walk for an hour and a half, and I get 10 to 11,000 steps in. And last night I was waiting for Ron to call me, because we always talk before we both go to bed. And I'm waiting for him to call me, and I decided to quit. So I was going to get in touch with him. And when I quit for the night, my steps were 11,111 steps. Valerie, good to see you. Ann, good to see you. John finally come on. John, we've been talking about you a lot. All good. I think everybody else I've already got to. But If I can find my stuff here, I want to read some things. I want to read some things to you why I feel we're very close. And they might be out of order because I don't remember exactly what order they came out yesterday, but I will. Here's here's something that I thought was pretty amazing, and what it is when I did that video today, a lot of it was about our president, his wife. You know, people who are multi-billionaires, people who could do whatever they wanted, wherever they wanted, whenever they wanted in this world. Our president could go golfing 7 days a week, 365 days a year. He could play any place in the world. All he has to do is show up there. People will move aside for him. He have his granddaughter, who is a tremendous golfer, and he loves dearly. And they could play all over the world, and she could get her schooling from home. They could do whatever they want, but he chose to this: make America great again. He chose to do this. And for his rewards, he takes no money. For his rewards, he has went and pretty much dismantled a 3-letter organization that took our money for years, that was paying hundreds, thousands of people, millions, even trillions of dollars over time to people who didn't exist, but the money was going in the pockets of the people that we're trying to get rid of. He's doing all of this. And then I go on a site such as TikTok, and at nighttime, there'll be people on there having little talk shows, cutting him down, telling he's the worst one ever, doing this and doing that. Can you please explain to me how somebody who could be doing whatever he wants, he's lost over $2 billion since he's taken this job. Name me one person that's willing to go and lose over $2 billion to try to get thrown in jail time after time after time, which they've tried to impeach him time after time. All of this stuff. And he, you know what? He takes a licking and keeps on ticking. He just keeps moving forward. I get aggravated with him. You know, Tony, David, Bill, John, we all get aggravated with him, right? But still, he just keeps working for us. Would we rather him be doing something, showing us something that really gets us going in the right direction? Yes. Do we want to go to our bank account and one day see that all of this stuff he says is going to happen, even if it's just a small amount, but something there? Yes. But I can tell you from my heart, it's going to happen. And remember, it only has to happen once to get the senior citizens extra. And I don't like to use that because I feel like I'm greedy, begging and pleading for the senior citizens. I'm not. The homeless, the disabled, the people who need it. That's who we have to take care of. Am I worried about getting $5,000 in a checking account of someone who's making $150,000 to $200,000 a year? No, they don't need it right now. But there's people out there that it was literally, it's life changing. You know, it doesn't sound like it, but $5,000 is life changing money to some people. But it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Mega country. I like that. We ought, my God, Tony, we ought to get a hat made up like that. Mega country. I like that. That is good. Man, if I still had my hat maker, I'd go get some of them made up and send them out to you guys. But the money, it's the principle. We keep going and going. And you know, when we say how our president does this, he takes a licking and keeps on ticking. We're the same way. John, when you got up this morning, was you in a good mood? I was. I've been in a good mood all day today. I feel good. I'm going to sing that song all night long. As a matter of fact, when I write Julia tonight, I'm going to tell her, I feel good. You know, but anyway, I was talking about they don't have to be doing this. But yet not even him, but his beautiful wife, who I was a Jackie Kennedy fan, even though I was young. I was only 10 years old. But, then even after, the fake whatever happened, to the man we all loved as president, if you're old enough to remember him. Even after all of that, Jackie was still in the limelight. But ask yourself this question, everyone. Tony and Janet and Papa G, Joe, Bill Woods, ask yourself this question. The things we've heard about, he could still be here. Why would someone like our First Lady, Jackie Kennedy, why would she marry an old geezer? He couldn't make her feel good. He couldn't. He didn't have it in him. That was back before the big V. Gruff. So what I'm saying here is, but think about it. He had a huge yacht on an island that he owned, off the island that he owned, and nobody got within spitting distance of that. You try to, this was before drones, but if you try to send anything in there, it was taken out. Nobody could get to his island without permission. It was a perfect hiding place for a perfect family. And in 1962, this man that we're talking about that was hiding, he made the statement. He made the statement that his son was 2 or 3 years old at the time. He said, in the 1990s, my son will go into hiding. He'll fake his death and he will go into hiding. And he will team with a hat and help him become the 45th president of the United States of the world, and they will take America back and make America great again. He did this on a video, and you could tell it was done back then because anybody who's my age or older, you can remember if you ever did a video, a home video, that's how they were done. They were not done this first-class thing. This was something he was sending out to the people of the United States of America because he loved us. But now the hat's wife has gotten involved. Melania, she says she's the First Lady of the United States on August 15th, 2025. Dear Mr. Putin, every child shares the same quiet dreams in their heart, whether born randomly into a nation rustic countryside or a magnificent city center. The dream of love, possibility, and safety from danger. A parent, it is our duty to nurture the next generation's hope. A leader, the responsibility to sustain our children exceeds beyond the comfort of the few. Undeniably, we must strive to paint a dignity-filled world for all and every soul. May wake up to peace so that the future's itself perfectly guarded. A simple, profound concept, Mr. Put in, as I'm sure you agree, is the catch. Generation descendants begin their lives with purity and innocence, which stands above geography, government, and ideology. Yet, in today's world, some children are forced to carry quiet laughter untouched by the darkness around them, a silent defiance against the forces that can potentially claim their fortune. Mr. Putin, you can single-handedly restore their melodic laughter. In protecting the innocence of the children, you will do more to serve your country You serve humanity at size. Such a bold idea transcend all human divisions, and you, Mr. Putin, are fit to implement this vision with stroke of the pen today. It is time, sincerely, Melania. And then she gives her last name, but we all know who that is. Myself, personally, I read that. I wish it had been in bigger print so I could have seen it better. But I read that, and I thought it was so unbelievably written. She is such an amazing woman. And this came out around the same time, but it wasn't caused because of what she wrote. This was written by the president of that country. Melania is the queen of Tartaria. She will be gifted an emerald diamond ring by Putin. Emerald diamond ring was that was it a part of her family heirloom, or was it savagely taken away to be returned? My takeaway is the old financial guard is done. All assets seized. The Rothschilds that had her family taken out, I can't use that word that starts with a K. In chest, the queen protects the king. Are we entering the Emerald City to uncover who the man behind the curtain that has been controlling the world? This is PUTIN summit will be big, saying that the hat and the Putin summit will be big. And it was. Because here's some of what come out of it, and then I'll tell you some more. A great and very successful day in Alaska. The meeting with President Vladimir Putin of Russia went very well, as did a late night phone call with President ZALINSKI of the Ukraine and various European leaders, including highly respected Secretary General of NATO. It was determined by all that the best way to end this horrific war between Russia and Ukraine is to go directly to the peace agreement, which would end the war. Oh, hold on. Which would end the war and not a mere ceasefire, which oftentimes do not hold up. President ZALINSKI will be coming to D.C., the Oval Office, on Monday afternoon. If all works out, we will then schedule a meeting with President Putin. Potentially millions of people's lives will be saved. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, that's what they said there. Now, what I just read, I thought was three of the greatest letters that I've ever read in my life. The reason I was reading them, I have them in my pictures, because I sent each and every one of them to Julia, and her reply today was, I don't know how my letter is going to be, because what you just sent me, I've already shared with my mom and my best friend, and the three of us cannot stop crying for happiness. I'm starting to get a little emotional because, see, we don't understand what is going on. We see that there's a war, but it's just like Vietnam. We didn't understand Vietnam, not until you lost someone you cared for. Unfortunately, in my family, we never lost a family member. But in my family, we lost two very good friends. One of them was a best friend of my second cousin, who was more like a brother growing up to me, Ron and Russ, and my sister Rhoda, than he was a second cousin. Another one was my best friend, Johnny Phillips's brother, who was 21 days from coming home. And unless you've experienced losing someone, you didn't realize it. And then becoming a patriot, when we hear about Vietnam, when we hear about what that company that runs beans, Bush, that them people there, what they did, what they were doing to keep that going. the lives, the hundreds of thousands, the tens of thousands, and more of lives that was lost unnecessarily. The women that was left over in Vietnam, because that's where they lived, and our soldiers, as much as I love them, was leaving them pregnant. And now they're stuck over there in a war-torn country, having to figure out how they're going to raise a child. That, what are they going to do? There was so much damage done to this country, but you know what? They didn't give up, they didn't surrender, and they didn't comply. And now they're one of the most beautiful countries in the world, so I've been told. Think about it. We are in a situation that we have the right to keep doing what we're doing. We have the right to keep moving forward and doing what needs to be done, because it may only be one of us. We only have 103 on this show. We used to get 200, 300, 400 people, but people are getting tired of waiting so long. But why? We've waited our whole life to get here. What's another, whatever it's going to take? You're going to cross the finish line with us, whether you're coming to shows, you're going to cross the finish line, whatever. I was talking to a gentleman, he hated my hat. He even wanted to hit me. He was a guy coming over to do something at my house. I kicked him off of my property. He wanted to whoop my butt, and here's a guy that he was about 6'2", 6'3". Looked very strong. Here I'm a measly 5'6", 5'7". I don't look very strong. I try to win you over with my smile. Well, I'm looking here, and Tony says the guy in the Ukraine wants a war because he's getting rich from him. But here's the thing. I think that's going to change. And I think whoever is like acting or playing that part is going to meet with these. We're going to get this stopped. Our president, the hat, has not stopped 5 wars already to let this one go. And Putin has already come out and said, if in 2022 the hat would have been president, it would have never started. And it wouldn't have. But see, we had a guy that they was saying was the president who was sending billions of our taxpayer dollars. Can you please explain to me why all the millions of people in the United States hate the hat, but they'll walk over nails to support this other idiot? And that's what he is. But fortunately, he's an idiot taking a very deep nap. And that's what we need all of these people who have put us in this situation to do. Now, in talking and getting the girl in the Ukraine to understand some things, she's worried, and she should. I said, when is the last time in your area, and she lives in a big city in the Ukraine, when is the last time you've heard of someone losing their life because of this war in your city? Because she used to tell me there was some, but they've never been a lot. And I said, in any city, has there really been a lot? And she says, to be honest with you, Ralph, no, there's not been a tremendous lot of casualties. I said, but can you think of this? When they bomb something, when do they do it? She said, usually in the middle of the night. And I said, what do they bomb? And she says, old abandoned buildings. They really don't go after the people, the houses, the businesses that are running. I said, and I explained to her about children and what Putin is really in that country trying to do. And she told me that makes a lot of sense. And it does. See, the letter that I read you from Melania tonight, the letter that I wrote you, a lot of people look at that letter and they say, wow, she's really getting on him. She very, very beautifully wrote a beautiful letter to him. But remember, guys, when you're talking the hat, when you're talking, these people talk in code. She was talking in code, letting him know that she is proud of him for freeing all these children, for going in and cleaning up a mess that they could do. And with the hat in charge, as far as the big Z getting rich and wealthy, the buses stop. It's not going to run no more. The money going in between where we allow to give them $5 billion. So the people from our country that was doing it could get their cut back. When you look at this guy that was doing it, when you look at his son, how is he running free? I mean, it's ridiculous. And it's time. Oh, we're back at 111 again. It's time we take back America. It's time. See, but here, this is the thing. Our president does not want to just take back America. He wants everyone in the world to live this. And I was talking to some people from other countries the other day. We were having just a little chat over on TikTok. And as we were talking, I told them, you're a millionaire. And I mentioned this in my show tonight, my video tonight. You're a millionaire and you don't even know it. And eventually I'll explain it to you because I'm going to start doing little videos like that on a daily basis, I think, and getting them out there. As long as people want to open their eyes, I'm going to try to open them. But we are what we are. You know, let's stay positive. We have a family here. Someone said, well, how many people do you have following you? And I told them, and they snickered. And I said, well, how many people do you have following you? Well, I don't run a show. I said, doesn't matter. I said, would I like it if there was more? I'm going to give you two answers. One is yes, because if there's more people here, we can open more eyes. But if there's more people there, it takes away the unique family atmosphere. Instead of 103 and maybe only being 30 or 40 of you chatting every night for an hour, if there was 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people here, and I was offered to have that, guys, where other people are taking and lining their wallets with money. I didn't do that. I was offered that I could have got 100,000 followers. They wouldn't do anything during the show. They would come on. Some of them might come on and actually like the show. But before I did the next show, you know, these 100,000 people who were making a little scratch from certain things, they was going to go ahead and have to come in and watch. Some of them would have to make, you know, they would have to make comments because they wanted to make advertisers believe that, oh, and this has nothing to do with this company here. This, I was not approached by this. This was an outside company that somehow was going to get paid also. They were going to sell the advertisement for here. So people would buy the advertisement to put on here. So it was going to be seen by at least 100,000 people. I didn't do that. There's a lot of people out there that when they do shows, they'll put little things up there. And you know, right here, you know, here, well, the gentleman that just a few minutes ago posted about the president in that one country making millions, so he wants the war. You know, I answered that statement, that question. If I see over here that I have questions, I will do things. Now I'm seeing over here you guys are talking about money. If you're on Social Security, your money will be directed right into your account, just like your Social Security check is. The problem they're going to have is the people on their streets. And you know, my feelings is the people on the streets, they're going to need help too. So if I see someone on there, I'm going to stop. If I've got a little extra money, which I would have by then, I'm going to tell them, hey, you need to get someplace and you need to send this message here. Or give me your information and I'll send it. I'll do it right there for them right then. Because I want to look out for these people. I want to make America, well, we're already the greatest country in the world, but I want to take it back from the people. You know, as I said on that little video today, I said, isn't it funny? We need to go to one party. And whoever wants to run for offices, you don't have a Democrat and you don't have a Republican party. You just have it one party. And everybody, you have your beliefs, but if you go in and you make promises and you don't do it, this is not going to be a place for people to come in like they do in Congress and we're just going to work the rest of our lives, and we're going to retire on a $70,000 or $80,000 a year job, but we're going to do it for 25 years, and we're going to retire with $50 million. Gone are the days of crazy Nancy. Gone are the days of the lady whose husband liked to be with other women. Gone are the days of these people getting rich and famous, because it's what's going to happen. If you try to treat our country and cheat our country, you're going to end up in the same place as them. And it's not funny, because there's either a rope or something there. You might get a big shock out of something. We don't know. I believe we're going to clean up America. We're going to clean up the world. And, say what you want, but I believe we will have a new president before the end of this term. I really do. And you guys all know who it's going to be. It's 3 letters, and his daddy was one too. And that's who I believe will be there. And I believe then that, along with about 2 or 3 other people, our man, the hat, will be an ambassador helping rule not only the United States, but the world. I believe you'll have 4, maybe 5 ambassadors that will take certain levels, but they'll all be on the same page. Everybody will be granted the same thing. We're going to go to currency. I'm going to tell you a quick story here. And, it's getting late into the show, and I've said a lot, guys, but I hope that if you didn't listen, you go back and listen, because a lot of what I said makes a lot of common sense. But, we have to be together on this. We have to, if you see a video about this prophet says this, and it's a video that's going to bring people down, don't even worry about it. I don't care if they say they're a prophet or not. I don't care if they say they're this or that or not. People are out there. They're still trying to bring us down. We work too hard. Janet, Bill, One Voice, John, David, Tony, Battle? Oh, no, that was Janet again. Jerry Wells. We work too hard to build up. Don't let us take them down. But we're all going to work this together. I seen something before I end tonight, and I should have went to Judy, but I haven't even looked at Judy, and I don't want this to keep going and going, because I don't like to go real long into the show. I'll read Judy on the next one. But I had a lot to say tonight. Ron worked hard to get me things, and we worked together. But the fact of the matter is, we're all Americans. We're all together. But we have to love their other countries. Someone said something to me about, it's not fair that they won't let these people cross. Yes, it is fair, because anybody can cross into this country. You can cross into this country as long as you do it legally. If you do it illegally, you're a criminal, and you do not I don't care if you did it illegally 5 years ago. If you did, you need to come forward. You need to get an attorney and say, look, they came across illegally 5 years ago, but look what they've did. Then you go home for a month and you apply, and I pretty much guarantee you'll get back in. But you got to do it right. It's just like if you go out and break a law, should you be punished? Yes, you should. The people who broke so many laws, they went out and they're being punished. They thought they was bigger than the law. They thought they was bigger than the world, but they're not. And this one man, along with all of us, is going to bring them all down to their knees and even lower. And that's where we're at, guys. But I was going to tell you, my son helps me pay our house payment, but he's got it set up in his account where I give him X amount of money every month for my part. And he looked at me, and he's going to Jamaica in October for his 10th wedding anniversary. So I get the 2 little kids I have one of them because the other one I think is going to stay mostly at the babysitter, but I'll have small Hank. The last time we did this, me and Ron spoiled small Hank like you wouldn't believe. But, he looked at me last night and he said, hey, next month and in the month of October, when you pay me, can you pay me in all $20 bills? He doesn't want to take anything bigger than a 20 to Jamaica with him. And I said, hey, why don't you have me buy you Jamaican money? Well, because they'd rather have American money. I said, sure they were, because American money is worth more. But I said, if you have me pay you in Jamaican money, and I went and looked, and the ratio to it, I'm not even going to tell you here. And I tried to talk to him tonight. I even showed him, if I take this amount of money, this is what I get. This is what you can go over with. Well, let's put it this way. Instead of $200 going over with United States money, it's in the thousands. And then I told him, I says, you know, you can buy so much, you can spend so much. But then if you got any money left before you go, right there in the airport, you can go ahead and switch it over. But my son, I love him dearly. I do. I'd never want any other son. But him and his wife are two people that they don't think that I know anything. Tonight I was talking to my grandson, Small Hank, about the revaluation. And I made the statement here a while back. I told him, I said, you know, Small Hank, when I get this money, I'm going to build a brand new house. And I'm going to have a bedroom for every one of my grandkids. You'll have your own bedroom. So when you come over, you'll have however you want it designed. You want a TV, you'll have it. However you want. He's big into dinosaurs. I said, you want a whole wall of dinosaurs, you'll have it. If you outgrow dinosaurs and you want to go to a whole wall of teenage girls, you'll have it. Fully dressed, very nicely. I thought I'd put that in there. But he looked at me, and ever since I've told him that, he just keeps talking to me. And he said, Grandpa Hank, tonight, how much money are you going to be? And he starts talking to me about a guy. I had no idea who he was talking about. Somebody on TV. And he says, he's really rich. Grandpa Hank, he's worth hundreds and thousands of dollars. And he said, are we going to get that much? I said, how about maybe millions or billions? And his eyes got as big as basketballs. And I wanted to end the show with that story because seeing the look on his face and walking in the door, and he says, my Grandpa Hank is going to be a millionaire or a billionaire, and he's going to give me a lot of money. And I don't care, Mommy and Daddy, what you said. I believe him. With that, good night. God bless. I love you all. Thank you for going through my ramblings and my great mood. I hope you guys liked the show. But if you didn't see the little video I did, try to get a hold of it and watch it. We love you. Good night. We'll see you Wednesday night, if not before.